What is an adult problem nobody prepared you for? That getting behind schedule on chores can ruin your weekend. Rookie, I've been behind on chores over the weekend for almost a decade. Yet I'm about 6 years behind. Each time we got one room done, the previous one is a mess again already. It's a never-ending cycle now. I think we need the cleaning crew from Hoarders to pull it off all at once. Working out what to cook. Every single day. Forever. This and trying to get through the food before it goes bad. I'm looking at you. Supermarket fruit with your okay to eat window of about 3 minutes just after not ripe yet and fractionally before moldy as hell. You glance over at the bananas for a second. They're green and hard as hell. Turn around for a second. Look back and it's completely black and turning to dust. Banana bread. My friend. Banana bread. The relentlessness of responsibility. Pro tip. If you punch a police officer, you end up not having to worry about the majority of life's responsibilities and you get a lot more free time. Whenever I have a problem, I throw a Molotov cocktail and suddenly I have a different problem. Jason. Bortles. Watching your parents age. Not just your parents, everyone. Mortality at its finest. Don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. How much you run on autopilot. Take care of your habits early and you won't lose so much time trying to change them. Good advice: building good habits in your early life will make adulthood 100x easier. Eating healthy. Exercising. Never putting off small tasks. Quick cleaning of your living space weekly. Doing dishes right away, etc. Small things that can wreck your adult life if you aren't doing them. There are bigger things too, of course, but all the small things add up. How do you meet people? Do you go up to a stranger? How do you go from coworkers to friends? What about something more than friends? I went through my whole childhood having no issues making friends, people who I still talk to often though I can only meet them a few times a year. Yet, I don't know what I did back then to make these friends. So I have no idea how to make new ones. I can talk. And I do talk to people. I just don't know if there's something special I'm supposed to do to establish a friendship, or if it's normal for everything to feel like an eternal gray area like it does right now. Maybe I'm already friends with these people and I'm too stupid to realize. Hobbies are the key to making friends. If you want to make a new friend or two, take a martial arts class. Common pain and struggles bring people together pretty quick. I've been going to a martial arts class 5 times a week for 4 months and I have never felt more isolated. Dealing with a chronic health issue and having to gather the willpower to go through painful test surgeries and all that fun stuff. It was way easier when parents would take care of all of that and drive you to your appointments. The driving yourself to surgeries is what I was going to list. I really envy the friends who have spouses who can do that. It's bad enough scheduling and going through with a surgery. It's absolutely awful to realize you didn't even think how you'd get home. Also, plan very well for post-surgical care. Food, beds, feeding pets. The pets thing is what did me, and I thought of everything except a way home and taking the dog out. Somehow it didn't occur to me that a very small foot surgery on the right foot would be such an issue. It seemed so minor, and then the doc started talking about wound care and the good meds, and I'm like, oh shit. I think I can help here. I have a puppy and 3 cats. I piled on extra large puppy pads all over the place. Filled up kitty litter boxes. Left 20 pounds of dry food. And food for myself too. Those damned meds, watch the rugs for slipping. Nailed to floor. I say. Tripped over a transparent container yesterday, got extremely lucky, seriously though. Pay for a nurse for at least 1 night after surgery. Even mild surgery and the good meds will make you comatose. How many other adults don't give a fuck about quality work, including double checking their work? Which adds more to the phrase, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Yes. It's still baffling after decades of working. I keep thinking I'm working with professionals. Nope. I'm preaching a book called The Clean Coder right now. It's about software professionalism. But it's hugely applicable to any other industry. Everything. Taxes. Working, cooking. Paying bills. Responsibility. Making appointments. Insurance. I went out into the world at 18 with zero knowledge of how to keep myself alive. My kid wants to have more freedom and wants to grow up. I just laugh and tell him to enjoy this while it lasts. Being an adult can be fun. But in general it sucks and I'm tired. Your kid may not thank you, but have them take on some cooking chores. I had my kids helping make cookies. And dinner, starting about age 8. By the time they were in high school, they could be put to starting dinner and it helped them appreciate the amount of work making a meal and timing it properly is, and by the time they were in college, they were superstars to their peers. Losing your wife in her prime and being left with a toddler. Life can seriously be unfair. Not only to me but seeing how unfair it can be at the jump for little ones. Love and protect kids. I'm so sorry. Having to make 70,000 decisions throughout your normal days. Always being tired. The constant chores. I don't even have kids and I don't know how people do it. This. A bit where sometimes after a day of work I just need to sleep in my evening instead of doing anything I wanted to do. Simply how to do everything on your own. I'm 20 and my mom done pretty much everything until I was 19. I tried to do stuff and she refused. She started to teach me to cook though, and I learned how to use the washing machine and all, but at one point, I wanted to get my own shopping in so I could learn some money management and she saw it as an insult. I truly believe she was born to be a mum. I live with my dad now and it's the opposite but with support. He shows me once then wabam you're on your own and I prefer it this way honestly. I do all my own washing, my room's tidy all the time and I'm learning to cook properly again. Sounds stupid, but when you're given everything straight up it's hard to learn how to do these basic things. I know what you mean. My mum was the family organizer. And she didn't really appreciate anyone trying to take over, help. It got worse the higher dad progressed in his career because she didn't want anyone thinking she was a typical diplo wife who liked to sit around all day playing cards and day drinking while the housekeeper looked after everything. When I left home at 18 I didn't know how to cook, do laundry, clean properly, sew a button on a shirt. I'd never made my own doctor's appointments. Gone grocery shopping. All this stuff that I suddenly had to learn very quickly in the days before YouTube or Google. We were watching Junior MasterChef one day and she said remember when you were twice their age and didn't know how to cook. If you'd learned at home you would have made such a mess in the kitchen. Which pretty much sums everything up lol. I'm glad someone relates. Doctor's appointments were a nightmare for me to learn. I dealt with a blocked ear for a year because she wouldn't ring them for me or teach me how so I just dealt with it. All my appointments I do myself now and it's kinda liberating. My cooking skills are very merite now but we're learning. It gets better. Trust me lol and oh my god. Blocked ears. I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. I just thought I was going deaf. That time flies. I remember being a kid the week before Christmas and thinking that Santa Claus was never going to come. My dad and grandma laughed and told me that time would move faster when I got older. I thought they were telling me a whopper. Turns out, they were right. My dad has already warned me that it gets worse. And that he now feels like it's only 6 months between Christmases. On the plus side, now that I have my own money, I don't have to wait until Christmas for presents. I can choose to buy myself something whenever I like, as long as the bills are paid first. I have no idea where the past 20 years went. I feel like it's still close to the year 2000. But people born that year can drink now. I know. Right? I was telling my nephew about Jurassic Park. The movie that terrified me when I was about his age. And looked up when it came out. How is that film almost 30 years old? It doesn't seem possible. Time has flown. And the special effects have stood the test of time. It's amazing what you can do with real props instead of CGI. You are going to have friends who literally die. I have a good friend from high school who is literally about to die of cancer. I'm 30 years old and I cannot fathom that she's going to be gone soon. Just had her second baby too. No one told me that life was cruel like this. Not much older. Have a multitude of dead friends and peers. 7 friends dead from suicide in the past 5 years. At least 20 peers dead. 2 of my high school class didn't make it to graduation. One old high school friend I'd lost touch with died in his early 20s with his wife and 2 kids in the car with him, all dead. I was pretty much to the point of desensitization by my mid-late 20s. Now when someone dies it's an oh that's unfortunate and not as so young. How could they because I've known so many. Slowly realizing you're not the young one anymore and you're the one giving life advice to what are seemingly children. I had a rough moment when I realized the people I was still thinking of as my peers were, in fact, almost 20 years younger than me. Aging sneaks up on you in a way I wasn't at all prepared for. That moment when you realize you're no longer the baby in the office, but one of the oldest. Financial planning. Make a budget and stick to it. Invest in 401k. Max out an IRA, use credit cards as debit cards, try to only take out good debt mortgage, and this last one I'm about to mention is the most important one. Don't be poor. I wish I was joking, but it's the sad truth. But if you try to do the first ones it sorta helps. Tip number 1 for most things is don't be poor. Sad. But true. It's more true in some places than others, but still. It's literally dangerous to be poor in America. Making a home for yourself and anyone else you call family. Leaving your childhood home is a weird moment when that feeling of home disappears with it and you just wish you could feel safe and secure again. The realization that nobody, not one person, actually knows how any of this works. At all. Nope. We're all still just fucking winging it. But that can be as liberating as it is frustrating. It's like my son says. Everybody's guessing. So guess big. Don't know if it's original with him. But it's a philosophy that works for him. The lack of energy at the end of the workday. When I was younger always had energy. Physical activity no problem. Friends want to go for drinks tell me where and when. Now as I've gotten older. There have been a few days driving home just thinking about putting my feet up and crashing in front of the TV. I feel this. Even working from home. I'll go to the gym. Cook dinner. Eat. Shower. Next thing you know it's 7 p.m. and you couldn't pay me to get off my couch. I'm not sure I'd call it laziness, just a general acceptance of adulthood. Thought being passionate, educated, and motivated to do the right thing would make me professionally successful. Wrong. I think it's mostly about inheriting money and then the rest of us telling ourselves it's our fault. Cooking 3 times a day. Cleaning the kitchen non-stop. You could also pre-make a good portion of your meals and put them in the fridge. That's what I do for my lunches for work. Go shopping on Sunday. Go walk to the dogs. Come home. Cook my lunches for the week and toss them in the fridge. Phone calls, I hate calling people. Approaching people professionally. I don't disagree. But I'd sooner call a real human being versus the automated robot bullshit so many places have set up now. If there's one thing I hate more than having to call people, it's having to jump through hoops so that they know I called. Thank you for leaving a comment. We are experiencing higher volume than usual, so please hold. Your comment is important to us. Please listen carefully as our menu has changed recently. If this is a medical emergency, please log off Reddit and call 911. Para Española Prima 69. For a new list of options, press 1. For a pointless GIF, press 2. For images, press 3. For an insult, press 4. For rickrolls, press 5. To subscribe to Cat Facts, press 6. For copypastas, press 7. To hear this list of options again, please bang your head against a keyboard. To speak to a human, please enter the first 82 digits of pi in alphabetical order. I might be dumb for this one, but bills. Dude, why are there so many and the fees? Okay, my rent is $X, but wait, there's a fee for paying with card, so now it's this much. Okay, and electricity is separate and the price changes every time. Oh, you want to know why it was $200 last month and $40 this month? Did we just read the meter? It's so stressful. This. And then so many hours spent on the phone with crappy customer service reps to figure out why their rate changed or what this random fee is for. Only for them to not know how much my body would creak and how hard it would be to recuperate from anything. There is no such thing as easily bouncing back from a cold hangover, sleeping wrong, etc, etc, etc. Much harder to make and keep friends as you get older. I never expected young dummies calling me boomer as an insult. I'd like to say, hey, I made it to this age despite 1,000 setbacks, and I'm comfortable financially too. But I never say anything. Also, I am much less tolerant as I get older. Some people have stayed in unhappy marriages for decades to avoid loneliness. Are you a boomer or just like a 35-year-old who 12-year-olds call boomer because they think all old people are boomers? Just curious. Lol. Damn. Is 35 old? Anything older than 25 means mainstream society starts paying less and less attention to you. Your pop culture references get recognized less and less, and you start to realize in horror that people think you're funny because they think your jokes and humor are original when it's the opposite, it's dated. I don't think I ever felt as old as when I got blank stares when I asked, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Your parents dying. If you had a minimally decent family life, your parents were the foundation your life was built on. Even as you get older, you still rely on them for advice and help. You feel that the days you have with your parents are limitless. Even though you know they aren't. You'll call tomorrow. You'll go see them next month. Then suddenly there are no more tomorrows. The foundation your life was based on is now gone. Suddenly, they aren't there. It takes everything in you to just stand. Life never returns to what it was. It doesn't always hurt. But life is never what it was. You finally settle on a new normal. Now you are the foundation. The cycle of life. We all live it, and God forbid it goes the wrong direction and your parents have to bury you. Yup. I dread the day I bury my parents, but I welcome it when it happens because the alternative is that my parents will bury me and I can't stand the idea of them having to do that. Hemorrhoids. Hear hear. The parent dying, especially if you're the first in your friend group to experience it. That when you are a parent you do not get to be sick. You could have the worst flu and you still need to make dinner for the kids, pack lunches, and get them to school on time. All you want to do is lay in bed and sleep for 3 days. But you have to take care of everyone else. I'm lucky in that I have a spouse who understands sometimes you just need a day. Maybe I'm sick, or maybe I'm tired. She will take over that day. I will say that I agree with what I think is at the heart of your comment. Most parents will, even without thinking, do whatever is need to help their kids. It's super minor. But this morning my 5 years old woke up at 5 a.m. yelling. As all parents do. I assessed. Is this an I'm hurt or I can't find binky cry? It wasn't anything major. But I was still 95% asleep. Without even thinking rolled out of bed to go toward her cries to help. Funnily enough, I was sleeping in the guest room last night because my wife is getting over a cold. We met in the landing between the rooms. Just kinda gave the morning grunt and head lift and went in. I hope you do the same for her.